I'm Dr. Hal Fulmer. It's my pleasure and privilege to serve Troy University as our Associate Provost and Dean of Undergraduate and First Year Studies, and it is my very great pleasure to welcome you to Troy University for the 2023 Scholarship Brunch. It is a full house today. What a wonderful view. If you were standing up here looking out there, it is absolutely wonderful. We're very excited to host this gathering that brings together our scholarship recipients and our scholarship donors in a celebration of the wonderful things that happen when the donor's generosity meets the needs of deserving and hardworking students. People occasionally ask me, how do I understand the relationship that the university has with its students? And I know my colleagues have heard me say this more than once. I view us as partners. The university brings great expertise and knowledge and all of the accrued wisdom in all the many disciplines and the facilities, and students come to us and bring their efforts and they bring their willingness to work hard, and our donors contribute to that process and our parents contribute to that process, and ultimately what we have is a partnership for a promise. And the promise is when a student finishes a degree from Troy University, their life is changed. Not just now, but in all the years to come and for those who come after them. So today we celebrate a partnership in a promise. And of all the wonderful things that will happen today, we also honor the lasting memory of Dr. Fred B. Davis, an emeritus provost and a dedicated Trojan. Fred was the provost when I was hired here at his recommendation in 2002. I was the dean of the College of Communication and Fine Arts when he hired me. I've often thought, because he and I both have degrees from the University of Georgia, that he thought we were both outlaws and he recommended me for this opportunity. I've been eternally grateful I came to Troy, and it changed my life in incredible professional and personal ways. So it matters to me that we honor him today. Fred loved learning, one of the smartest persons I've ever met. And he loved the learners. And that combination for him makes it fitting that this event carries his name. Now, at this time, to move us along and move us toward all the good things of the day, I want to recognize a few of our leaders. Everybody in the room is incredibly special. But I want to recognize a few, and I would ask a couple of things. One, if you'd hold your applause, we're going to give a big round when I get done. And also, if as someone we're recognizing, you just like to raise your hand. If you don't want to stand, that's fine. I don't want to ask people to stand and keep standing. Let's just acknowledge, and you take an opportunity, if you haven't already, to come by and speak to some of these people that provide such leadership for our institution. First of all, our Chancellor, Dr. Jack Hawkins Jr., and our First Lady of Troy University, Mrs. Janice Hawkins. And I think they deserve a round of applause. Thank you. Now, if you'll let me introduce our other special guest today, and if you'll hold your applause for that, and I'll ask them to wait. Our Board of Trustee and Foundation Board member, Mrs. Karen Carter, is here on the front. Our Foundation Board and Scholarship donor, Harold McKinney, as well. We have our Alumni Board, Bill Hopper, our immediate past president. We have members, Freddie Thomas and Jerry Williams, and we have our Executive Director, Faith West Bird. They're here as well. We have our Legacy Giving Council Chairwoman, Mary Ida Williams. We have some of our officers of the university, our Senior Vice Chancellor for Academics, Dr. Lance Tatum, our Senior Vice Chancellor for Advancement, Brigadier General Retired Rick Boutwell, are with us. And we have a person that many of us served with, our former Senior Vice Chancellor for Academics, Dr. Earl Ingram, and his wife, Becky, who was also on our faculty. We have our Associate Vice Chancellor for Development, Greg Needler. I think Greg is out there. We have some of our academic deans. We have Dean Stephen Taylor of the College of Communication and Fine Arts. We have Dr. Carrie Palmer, of our Dean of our College of Education, his wife Robin. We have Dr. Michael Thrasher, his wife Jennifer. Michael is the Dean of the College of Communication and Fine Arts. And we have Dr. Judson Edwards, who is in the dean of the Sorrell College of Business. I believe, is Coach Mead here as well? Good. We have our Coach Skylar Mead, baseball coach. There's real dedication. We're trying to play a series against that school from Mississippi, but he's here this morning. And so when you shake his hand later, you wish he and the team good luck. And so at this time, what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask Dalton Cates to come up. He's our Executive Vice President for Student Government, and he's the recipient of our Lance McClendon Business Scholarship. And I'll ask Dalton to deliver our invocation, and then I'll have some instructions for the brunch line. Dalton?
Thank you, Dr. Fulmer. Good morning, everybody. Please bow your heads in prayer. Father, we're gathered here today to celebrate the generosity of those who have chosen to invest in the education of others through scholarship donations. We also come to recognize the hard work and dedication of the recipients who have earned these scholarships through their diligence and perseverance. Lord, we're reminded of the importance of education and the opportunities it provides for individuals to achieve their goals and make a positive impact in their communities. We ask that you bless these scholarship donors and the recipients with your guidance, wisdom, and grace as they continue their educational journeys. We pray that you will give the scholarship donors a heart full of joy and satisfaction, knowing that their investment in the future of these recipients will yield great results in the years to come. Finally, we pray that this brunch would be a time of fellowship and encouragement for all who are gathered here today. And may we be reminded of your love and grace, and may we be inspired to live out our lives in service to others. Bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. We ask all these in your holy name. Amen, and go Trojans.
Amen. I'm reminded, having spent a career in higher ed, it's very important that you identify the places you want to work on the basis of absolutely how good the food is going to be. I know there are places in this country where maybe I could have gone, the food would not be as good as it is here at Troy University. We're going to recognize Sodexo and the team a little bit later, but if you enjoyed your brunch, perhaps a round of applause would be in order. I also want to thank Miles again for that beautiful music. We are blessed to have a music program. Yes, we are. I remember when I was here, somebody asked me, they said, well, the College of Communication and Fine Arts is a little small. I said, not worrying me. They said, why is that? I said, I'm the college that has the sound of the South. We'll be just fine. I also want to remind you as we begin to move forward, we've got a very special event this afternoon, our Troy Kickoff event. It actually will take place from 12:30 to 2 out in the Tailgate Terrace area. We have all kinds of activities lined up. Let me encourage you to go out there. We'll have our coaches like Coach Summerall, and we'll have Coach Mead, Coach Cross, and Coach Gore that'll be there as well. We have some great giveaways, a great chance to support our athletics program. And among the many things that has certainly evolved at Troy is we were a champion in other divisions. We're a champion in the most competitive division of the NCAA, and there's so much to be proud of for that. At this time, I'd like to begin the more formal part of our program, and I'd like to introduce our Chancellor, Dr. Jack Hawkins, Jr. He is noted for his leadership and his vision and his character and his capability. Now, having entered into the 34th year as our leader at Troy University, and it makes him the longest serving president of a public college or university in the country. What an amazing tenure of leadership for us at Troy University. During this tenure, he's transformed Troy University into an international university with campuses around the world and international students who join us every year, and has led, along with Mrs. Hawkins, the development of a campus that rightly bears the designation, the most beautiful campus in the country. If you haven't had an opportunity to wander the campus a little bit, it is amazing to see how beautiful it is. Dr. Hawkins was a Marine who fought in Vietnam. For some of you who are young, that seems like a long time ago. For some of us who remember, it's not. He's been a leader in war, but I think more importantly, in peace. And lately, he's led the way in the fight to keep college affordable. Scholarships have been a strong emphasis on that as we work to limit student debt and make a bright future with less debt possible for our students. It's my pleasure to introduce our Chancellor, Dr. Jack Hawkins, Jr.
Hey, thank you so much, Dr. Fulmer. It's a delight to be with you this morning. My wife, Janice, and I just continue to feel blessed to be part of this great university family and to see the size, the turnout this morning. Thank you so much for being here and being part of one of the more important functions that we host each year. I often say the best barometer for what a university can be and is seen in the success of its alumni. We have 165,000 alumni. They're located in every clime and place around the world, but everything starts at home, and I'm so delighted and pleased to welcome our newest Senior Vice Chancellor, Brigadier General Rick Boutwell. Rick I presented his degree to him in 1991. He had a distinguished career in the Air Force. He became a member of the Thunderbirds, the best in the world. That's that team that flies this close to each other, their wingtips, and somehow they demonstrate the very best in aviation, and we're delighted he is here. And often I say that if other universities are not pursuing our people, we have the wrong people. Periodically, I have to eat those words. And I'm certainly eating those words in no small way today because another Senior Vice Chancellor who has been here for many, many, many years in many different capacities, Dr. Lance Tatum, who is our Chief Academic Officer, and he leaves us in the next few weeks. He'll never leave us in spirit, but he and his wife, Jill, Lance has been appointed the next president of Northwest Missouri State University, and we're really, really proud of him for that opportunity. Not so happy for us, but we know that he'll continue to represent us well. So please, let's welcome Rick, but also let's congratulate Dr. Lance Tatum. When we speak of alumni, too, I was delighted that Mark Bunning, a dear friend, general manager of WSFA, we spoke just a few minutes ago, and he was telling me that about a third of his WSFA staff hold Troy degrees, and then he told me how many NBC affiliates there are around this country, and he says, keep them coming. You don't graduate enough students. And we're so proud that our School of Journalism is ranked number 6 in the country, and they're job ready when they graduate and ready to go out and make a difference. But that's typically the case here. So, Mark, thank you. Thank you. Keep employing those Troy graduates, and we want that to be 100%, okay? Not just a third, but 100%. I wanted to share a few thoughts. They had asked me to give you somewhat the state of the university, and I guess as I do that, I often think of that Charles Dickens theme, the best of times, the worst of times. Indeed, these are challenging times. I can't say these are the worst of times. Sometimes we forget how blessed we are in America. When you look south of the border and see millions trying to get here and not millions trying to leave, that should tell us something. I love America, but I never love America more than when I'm not in America. We were in Vietnam for graduation back in October. We held 4 graduation ceremonies in 3 cities, touching thousands of lives over there. But you can just imagine how proud we are to be Americans there because they covet the American experience, the experience that we often take for granted. It's easy to forget how blessed we are when we look at the problems on the news every day. Mark, thank you for delivering that news, but if you could just make a more positive presentation on occasion, we'd appreciate that too. But I know you're presenting the truth, and that's what counts. But so these are the challenging times, and I wanted to summarize for you. You didn't come to hear a speech, and so I'll be mindful of that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say these are challenging times. In the last 20 years, we've had almost 500 colleges and universities to close in America. Over 2,000 campuses have closed during that period of time. That's more on the private sector. On the public sector, we're seeing mergers. In Pennsylvania, as an example, they merged 6 regional universities to make 2, to keep from closing those institutions. And so we're seeing realignments, mergers, closings. I predict at the end of this, when the dust settles, there will be fewer colleges and universities in America, but I can promise you one of those that'll be standing and standing tall will be Troy University. Those problems are compounded by something else, and this is where I really want to accentuate our appreciation for the donors. One thing that has contributed to the declining confidence in American higher education has been student debt. Today, there are over 50 million people with student debt that averages more than $30,000 per student. That's $1.8 trillion. That's more than all credit card debt added together. Think of the magnitude of that. That's a burden that we don't want our students to drag into their future. I'm not proud of any debt, but I can say this. Our average debt is about $18,500, less than 2/3 of the national average. We would like for it to be 0, but I'll say this. If it's debt for convenience, it's bad. If it's debt as an investment, it's a good investment. You can hardly buy a good used car today for $18,500. And so the difference it can make in the life of students, where the potential is at least $1 million more in a lifetime and a career, it's a good investment. It's a good investment. And that's why the investment that we're making in terms of scholarships for good students, it pays dividends for this society. It pays dividends, and so you can have successful alumni. And I'm so proud of the alumni of this university. We have members of Congress. We have members of the Supreme Court. We've graduated 4 astronauts, hundreds of general officers, college presidents, university presidents, and the list goes on and on and on. I'm so proud that in medicine and healthcare generally, 90% of our students who apply are accepted. You may want to be a doctor in physical therapy or dentistry or optometry or nursing or whatever it may be, but if you can't get into the graduate program, you can't graduate with a doctorate. And that's key. We are so successful, have been, in graduating students, helping them. But this is not the end. This is the beginning. And so I want us to work hard, continue to work hard, to keep our costs down. And I can promise you we do that. We work hard every day to add value to the degree, but also to minimize debt. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing for our students. I'm very proud that we have $50 million in endowment in terms of scholarships, dedicated scholarships. We have over 350 named scholarships, but we continue to need more. We award more than $1 million each year. Our goal over the next 10 years is to go far beyond $100 million in endowment. It'll take all of us working to that end, but it's a great investment in the future of this country. Things that we have underway, I'm proud of the facilities. When you walk out of this building, you look to the right, you'll see a new building in health sciences, for nursing, exercise science, athletic training, kinesiology. It goes on and on, the potential that we have. On the quad, you see a new research center going up. What excites me is not just the past of this university, but the future. The future. We've done a great job in teaching. In the 1930s even, Troy was recognized among the top 10 teacher colleges in America. When you look at our academic programs, our accounting program ranks number 16. Our risk management insurance program ranks number 12. The list goes on and on and on. Quality. For 18 years in a row, Princeton Review recognized Troy University among the top colleges in universities in the Southeast. We stand on quality. One of the great concerns I have in American higher education today is the walking away of these institutions nationwide from traditional values. Traditional values. What exists here, and I preach to our trustees, I know Miss Karen Carter would tell you this, I preach to our trustees every chance I get. Their most important responsibility, our most important responsibility, is the preservation of the culture of this university, a culture that's built on patriotism, it's built on self-respect, it's built on faith, it's built on good stewardship, it's built on proper dress, it's built on proper communications. It's built on those traditional values that made America the great place that we enjoy today. It's our responsibility to preserve that right here at Troy University. And I know all of you are dedicated to that same end. I know we are. That's why we come to this place every day. But quality cuts across the board, not only in academics and not only in the development of good citizens, athletics. Athletics, I get excited talking about Troy, so if I knock this thing off, athletics, you know, we're investing about $12 million. I was delighted to see that Skylar Meade, in spite of the fact that we're in the midst of a very important series with Southern Miss, is here this morning to tell you how important what you're doing in terms of scholarships are helping this institution. We're investing about $12 million. It's not to win the Sun Belt Conference, it's to get us to Omaha. I often say, why not Troy? Why not Troy? Tonight there's a Final Four. Two teams will play in that Final Four, San Diego State and Florida Atlantic University. We have a 21-12 one-loss record against Florida Atlantic University, and we were within 8 points in just a few minutes of beating. We were 8 points ahead of San Diego State early in the season. We are that close. We are that close. Why not Troy? And the last thing, and who would have thought, and those of you, Bill, those of you who were here in the early 1990s, who would have thought that this year we would be ranked number 19 in football when many people thought we could never make it beyond Division II? Why not Troy? We have unlimited potential, and what excites me so much about the future of this institution is now we're migrating from teaching and public service. We're going to continue to do those things well, but then research. That's the next great frontier for Troy University, when we are truly contributing to the new knowledge, solution of problems. What you see going up on the quad is a new research center in polymer science. We're going to be working hand in glove with the world's largest plastic recycling plant to identify new solutions to old problems. That will be when this university will reach its potential, when we elevate ourselves and we're all engaged in developing and producing new knowledge on a regular basis. There is not a thing in the world that we can't do at Troy University. You can go anywhere from Troy University. We stand on the verge and the threshold of going from good to great. We can't do that, though, unless we all work together, and therein is where scholarships, the very heart of this institution, are our students. And if we help our students in the long term, we're going to help society, and we're going to make sure that Troy University continues to stand on a rock. God bless you, and thank you.
I like to remind our leadership classes, and we certainly have those, and we have excellent people who deliver instruction in them. But I tell our leadership classes all the time that it gets to be a very simple kind of equation. Leaders lead. That's what leaders do. They lead. And we are blessed at Troy University to have had the leadership of Dr. Hawkins across these years, and what a difference it makes. I'd like to bring up Dr. Judson Edwards now. He's the Dean of our Sorrell College of Business. He has some very special remarks as a part of today's brunch. Judson?
Good morning. I feel like the opening act following Elvis after that. You know, it's not necessarily the best place to be on the agenda, so I don't know how that happened. But No, I appreciate everyone for being here. I was thinking about this morning of comments that I'd like to say just before I get the chance to talk about the McClendon family and the scholars. And first, I'd just like to say, everything that you're doing here makes a difference in the lives of students. I know, speaking for all the deans and the academic division, we truly appreciate everything that you do for us. I guess 32 years ago, I was fortunate to get a George Wallace Leadership Scholarship and from Smith Station High School. Any Smith Station people out here today? Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. We got a Smith Station Panther here. That's all that matters. Troy State, Troy's made a difference in my life so much, and I'd like to just thank you all for doing that. I guess the next thing I'd like to say is think about Fred Davis while we're here today. Fred was always one of those. It was just like a silent strength with Fred. He was as solid as they would come. And I can remember one of the things I value is when we finally got the business school accredited, Fred wrote me a nice handwritten letter that I keep, just to remind me there were lots and lots of people who contribute to this university through the years, and Fred is surely one of those. I was thinking about, see, when you do speeches like this, getting out your notes and how you want to, describe, the McClendon family, so I get to talk about today. And, as a graduate of Troy and coming back and having the honor to serve as a dean here, this is my 14th year as dean at Troy. And, you get the chance to work at your school and make a difference. And, many times, for those that have been in administration, you don't always get the closeness with the students that you used to have as a faculty member. And I guess it was probably 13 years ago. Once I took this position, I was able to sit on the committee of the McClendon family and getting these scholars. And last night at the baseball game, Dr. Hawkins and I were talking, and I told him, I said, probably one of the most rewarding things I've been able to do as a dean is to be a part of that committee. Not only because I've been able to see the kind of students that we have at Troy that's coming in and the obstacles that they face and what they overcome, but also to become I feel like I'm part of the McClendon family. And I know that everybody involved with them feels the same way, from the students that they support, Meredith, all of the staff and the people here. There's a closeness with that family that is just hard to describe. This past year in the program, which I think is a beautiful program that was put together, you can see that Mac passed away recently, and getting to know Mac was special for me. I claim to be a golfer part-time. I used to be. I don't play much anymore. But, having the chance to get to know a former PGA professional, and it's funny because Mike won the Southern Open, which is right there where I grew up. And so being able to talk to him a little bit about that was fun. But I can remember asking him about, what was it like? What was some of the best moments you had? And he told me, playing some rounds with Arnold Palmer and talking about that with me was just like, one of the coolest things you could ever have happen. Mac wrote an autobiography, which, I'm fortunate to have a copy of that, and to read about his life is just an amazing, amazing thing. The one story Mac would tell, and I have to say this here, I thought was great, was he had been offered a golf scholarship to LSU, and he accepted, and he committed to LSU to go there. And I guess it was that year, University of Alabama had started a golf team, and the athletic director at the University of Alabama was a gentleman named Paul Bear Bryant. And Coach Bryant calls up Mac and says, Mac would really like for you to come to Alabama and play golf here at Alabama. And Mac told him, Coach, I think I appreciate the honor and all that. He said, but I committed to LSU, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to my word. And, Coach Bryant complimented him for that, of being a person of his word. And that's what Mac McClendon was, for sure. Just one of the nicest, best-hearted people you would ever meet. And so, with meeting Mac, then that I got to meet Joan and get to have a relationship with her. Joan, will you stand up, just please? Please, I beg you. Thank you. And you know, Joan, I know she's doing the best she can do, and I know that. And I know that that getting to know her and Mac and Amy and Jason, you know, has just been one of the best things that I could ever tell you. And so as we go into these interviews each year to meet students, and they're coming from all over, and they'll tell you they come from families many times that there's not a family. They come from, you know, they're struggling to make it every day. There's students that are working 2 or 3 jobs trying to pay for college. There's just so much that you see that we take for granted many times. I don't think, sometimes as faculty and as administrators at the university, we don't truly understand the depth of some of the difficulties that our students go through. And it has helped me so much to be able to sit in this committee every year and get a closeness with students that I probably wouldn't have otherwise without this program. I'd like for the McClendon Scholars, I think we have current and past McClendon recipients here. Would you mind standing? And their family members. I know there's some parents here as well. These are Mike and Joan's children, and they go back a long, long way. You know, all of this started because of Lance. And when I go into the building in Lewis Hall, there's a room there that's dedicated to Lance, and his portrait is there on the wall. And there's students that enter that room every day that learn a little bit about Lance. And, you know, I can't thank them enough for what they've done for this university, what they've done for the Sorrell College of Business, what they've done for lives of our graduates. And so when you look in your program, you'll see, I mean, they've donated over $750,000 to these students. Over 100 students that have received the scholarship. So many of them have graduated and moved on and doing great things in their lives. It's been my honor when I was asked to come up here, even though I had to follow Elvis to make this presentation. I just can't thank them enough for what they've done for my university, and I hope God will continue to bless them, and I hope for many, many years I'll be able to keep working with this family. So thank you.
Judson, I so enjoyed that story. As an LSU alum, it meant a great deal to me to hear that. There were very few things that Coach Baird didn't get, but I appreciate that LSU integrity, and I certainly add my thanks to the McClendon family. Leaders lead, difference makers make a difference. Here at Troy University, we have 65 alumni chapters that provide scholarship dollars and funding for university projects and leadership in their communities, recruitment of future Trojans, and they carry forward what Troy University is all about wherever they are. Today we will hear from someone that so many of us know and love, Miss Faith Ward-Bird, our Director of Alumni Affairs, on the ways the chapters are working and have been working in this past year. Faith?
I'm sorry. So good morning. I am the act following the act of Elvis. But thank y'all for having me. On behalf of the Troy University Alumni Association, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you. Welcome some of you back home where you belong. Whether through generous scholarship endowments or membership donations, you have allowed us, the Troy Alumni Association, to fulfill our mission to recruit good students for scholarship support and alumni activities throughout the country. And we can never adequately say how much we thank you for that. I want to take a moment to thank you, Dr. Hawkins. I want to thank you because our future is bright, because of your vision and your steadfast leadership. And you and Mrs. Hawkins, I can't thank you enough for your own philanthropy that you give to Troy and your commitment to our university and most all your commitment to our students. Thank you. Witnessing countless alumni and friends like yourselves here today coming together to strengthen the Troy legacy is truly inspiring. Your gifts are enabling students to pursue their passions and creating opportunities that some of them would not otherwise have. So once again, I say thank you to you, this group. But before I leave the podium, there's one more group that I must thank. Within our ranks today and helping us succeed is our highly successful Alumni Board of Directors and the 65 alumni chapters that Hal just mentioned. Yes, 65, because we recently chartered the Alpha Gamma Delta Alumni Chapter at our last leadership conference. These chapters work diligently to raise funds to support scholarships, and to date, 9 of these chapters have endowed scholarships within our foundation, and 6 more are currently working to endow scholarships. These chapters also give current scholarships to students within their local areas, and they are indeed transforming lives in doing so. So with that, I just want to say simply thank you to our chapters. You mean so much to the National Alumni Association. At this time, if I could have Dr. Hawkins and General Rick Boutwell, who is our Senior Vice Chancellor for Advancement, and also Greg Nedler, our Associate Vice Chancellor for Development, if they could please join the chapter members that are here today and our alumni board. Would you please come up for a presentation? I am so happy to announce that the check that they are about to receive, the foundation is about to receive, is in the amount of $50,000 in support of scholarships for our deserving students. Please join me in thanking these chapters for their most generous gift to Troy University. Thank you.
It's not a bad morning at all when we can honor the people we've honored, have a good meal, and a $50,000 check gets presented. It's just not a bad morning at all. And we're so appreciative for our alumni chapters. Dr. Hawkins reminds our graduates when they are about to cross the stage that the continued development and understanding of Troy University and its strength and its position depends on every one of those alumni. Make the university you graduated from a better place as you work hard. So we are so appreciative of that. We're coming to a very special part of today's program. We want to recognize now our very generous donors. All of this is possible through what you and your selfless generosity have provided. All of our scholarship donors today, if you would stand, please, so we could recognize you. What a difference it makes when people contribute time and effort, and most of all, those economic resources that are changing the lives of our students. And now I'd like for the recipients to stand, and let's give them a big hand. So families, friends, and recipients. We want to thank our generous donors. We want to congratulate our deserving recipients. We want to be reminded we're partners in that promise of something that's going to be good and better and great across time. And together, that partnership is building a better tomorrow for all of us. For all of us. I know we've given out a lot of thanks. I know at our individual tables there's been a lot of expressions of appreciation. We want to give everybody a very short sampling of the gratitude that's felt by our students who benefit from our donors' generosity.
everybody, my name is Nick Marshall. I'm a junior from Pike Road, Alabama, majoring in exercise science. I'm honored to have received the Mildred Brown Davis Scholarship. It's something that means a lot to me and my family to help relieve some of that stress that comes along with college. So for me and my classmates here at Troy, we'd like to say thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Davis Humphrey. I'm a senior sport management major from Helena, Alabama, and I've been privileged to be a two-time recipient of the Lance Robert McClendon Scholarship. This scholarship has been a huge help to my family, and it's been an honor to follow in Lance's footsteps because this scholarship has truly made a difference.
Hi, my name is Morgan Bundy and I'm from Banks, Alabama. I'm a sophomore here at Troy and I'm pursuing a degree in exercise science pre-health. I'm honored to be the recipient of the Dr. Albert Kirby Scholarship, and I want to personally thank the Kirby family for their generosity. I also want to thank all the donors who make it possible for Troy students like me to pursue their education and to have a good college experience. Thank you for your kindness, and go Trojans.
Hi, I'm Abby Gimri from Bhaktapur, Nepal. I did my undergraduate here in exercise science, and I'm currently doing my master's in computer science, and none of it would have been possible without your scholarship. Thank you so much for your generosity.
I'm Harmony Smith from Union Springs, Alabama. I attend Troy University, and I'm a freshman majoring in nursing. I have been awarded the Wells Fargo Foundation Scholarship, and I am very appreciative of it. Thank you.
As we get ready to close, I want to remind our scholarship recipients, I know you've probably said thank you, but it doesn't hurt to say it one more time to the people who make a difference for you. Thank you are two of the most special words in any language, and so often we don't hear them enough. So make sure you turn to the people who've made a difference and say thank you. Even as today, we've talked about these people, the McClendon family, Fred Davis, others that we've said, gosh, you know, along the way, what a difference they made for us. It's been a wonderful morning. What a great way to kick off April. There are no April Fools in here, just people making a difference. I want to thank our development, our alumni staff, our student workers. Takes a lot to put on an event of this size, and I so appreciate it. I want to have one more round of thanks to our Sodexo team for a great brunch this morning. We appreciate everyone who's here. We appreciate your dedication to Troy University. I want to ask if our donors, when we finish in a minute, if our donors will come to the front, all donors, so we can get a picture, and also all of our McClendon family and McClendon recipients would come up as well. We want to get a picture of that as well. Remind you again about our kickoff event this afternoon. Support our baseball team as well as they play Southern Miss. Have a safe, enjoyable remainder of the weekend. Have a great month of April. Go Trojans. We are dismissed.